What's going on? This is Ryan with Automatic Comics, and up next I have one of the riskier purchases and submissions to CGC that I have ever made. It is one book. It's in this box. I have not checked it yet. It could either go really, really well or it could go pretty poorly. So I'm nervous about that one. Then, because that's just one book though, I've got this other huge box of books that I recently picked up from Heritage. Some really cool stuff in here. So let's check these out, and fingers crossed, let's see how I did on that CGC submission. All right, so before we get started, please remember to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button. It really does help the channel. I appreciate all the likes and subscribes and comments. Love talking with people in the comment sections as well. So, like I said, I do have this box here. This is from CGC. It is a single book. Have not checked the grade on this one yet. This was from the larger submission that I recently sent to my presser to then have sent to CGC. This was the one express book. This was the one more expensive book. I'll talk about this one a little bit later because I'm going to open this one last. I'm going to save this one for the end, but this was definitely a pretty big gamble on my part, and we're just going to see if it pays off. Now, the other books that I have here are, I think it was like 5 books. 5 books, I think, that I picked up from Heritage that's in this huge box. Some really cool stuff in this one, so we're going to get into these first. But before we do that, I'm going to talk about the sponsor of this video, the Comic Book Presser. If you've watched my CGC unboxings on this channel, almost all of those books were pressed and cleaned by the Comic Book Presser before getting graded by CGC. He does incredible work on all kinds of books. I've had him press Golden Age books from 1940 all the way up to moderns from 2020, Silver Age magazines, and everything in between. He has very reasonable prices and is also a CGC certified dealer and will pass his savings on to you if you have him submit your books through him. If you're looking to get some books pressed and clean, make sure to check him out on Instagram and through his website. His contact information is in the details of this video. All right, we're back, and he is the one that pressed, the book that's in here as well. So, hoping that one turns out pretty good. So, let's get into this box. This is a huge box. Heritage generally does a very good job packing their stuff. I did have that one issue with, if you watch my prior video with the Amazing Spider-Man 4, that seemed like it was maybe shipped in just a little too small of a box, and I think that's probably why it was cracked. But like this, I can tell like this is shipped in 2 boxes, like they double box it, they surround the interior box with bubble wrap. There's, I'm sure, even more bubble wrap inside. Yeah, so here's another box that's inside of it. And so typically this is what I am used to with the packaging that I get from Heritage. So I mean, I've bought a lot of books from them and I rarely have an issue, but that was one of the rare cases. However, they took care of it right away. After I made that video, I emailed them and sent them a picture of the cracked slab, and I mean, without any other even like prompting or anything, they said, we're sending you the label, send it back to us, we'll get it reslabbed at CGC and send it to you. So, I mean, they took care of it right away, no issue. And so it's already shipped out and on its way back to them. But let's see, in here, yeah, a bunch of bubble wrap, and I always like getting all the bubble wrap because then I can use it to pack up stuff too. I try to reuse, these packing materials as much as possible, so I'm not throwing all this stuff out. But I'm going to get all these books out, and then we will go over them and then get into that box from CGC.
2,000 years later.
All right, so we got them all out. It is 5 books, 5 slabs, some really cool books. Let's start with the first one here. This is a pre-code horror book. Looks like someone did a little bit of math on the cover of this one. But this is Haunt of Fear number 11. And this is a cover goes by Ghastly Graham Ingalls. You can see that it's actually signed Ghastly down in the corner there. And his covers are usually they have a real creepy vibe to them. And I mean, this one is no exception. Whether it's that guy being buried under there or digging the body up, I don't really know. But this is a 4.5, 1952, and just a creepy cover from the EC run. Overall, a really nice presenting copy. You can tell this was probably in a stack of books. It does have like a little lightning on the top and on the edge over here, but in the main central part where most of the art is and everything, the colors are really, really good. So yeah, just a cool EC book, Haunted Fear number 11. I've never owned this book before. I haven't had many books that were done by Graham Ingalls where the cover was Graham Ingalls, but I really like that that signature, the Ghastly. I think that's pretty cool. All right, next one, going from pre-code horror to Disney. So a pretty big jump. Now we've got Walt Disney's Comics and Stories number 7, a 5.0, pretty nice grade for this one. So I've talked about Walt Disney's Comics and Stories, or Walt Disney books in general, and there are certain ones that I kind of like to go for because there are a lot. I mean, Disney's been around for a long time. They're putting out a lot of comics across all kinds of different titles. And so I'm pretty picky on which ones I like to pick up. And so for me, it's either a key issue. So when I say key, it's like first time Carl Barks did the story, or a number 1, like Walt Disney's Comics and Stories 1, or the War Bonds covers, or, things like that. Or within this run, I like going after the first 12 issues. So the first 12 issues are the first volume. So you can see that right up here. It's volume 1, number 7. And so those first 12 issues are a lot more in demand. They're harder to get. You don't see them as often. And so getting one that's actually a very nice presenting copy, a 5.0, really bright colors. It just has a subscription crease down the middle. You can hardly see it because of the white. Let's see if I can get it to show. Yeah, so you can see it a little at the top there, but it runs down the cover, but it really doesn't show at all with that, with the white on the cover. So presents really, really well for the grade. So this is a great one. So yeah, those first 12 issues are some of the books that I always like to try to pick up if I get a chance to. The Walt Disney's Comics and Stories number 1 is one of my keeper books. That's where you have Donald Duck opening the page of the front cover. And I really like the design of that cover. All right, we're getting all the variety in this one. Now we've got a World War II cover. This is Fight Comics number 42. Now this is a Japanese World War II cover, but it's from 1946. Fight Comics kept doing these a little bit after the war had ended. A lot of the other titles, once the war was over, they altered the artwork so that it wasn't really a war cover anymore. They would change like what symbols were on the cover, that kind of thing. But this one is still recognized as a World War II cover. But Fight Comics are generally known for this type of cover. It's like Pacific Theater with good girl art, on the cover. That's generally what these are. But yeah, this is a very high grade copy. I mean, 1946 and 8.5. So just a really incredible condition copy of Fight Comics number 42. And yeah, this back looks really bright, sharp too. But yeah, really nice, really nice looking copy of this one. It just, basically, it's like it just has a little bit of spine wear. That's most of it. I don't really see anything else like a crease or anything that jumps out. I mean, just for a book that's almost 80 years old. And that is pretty incredible. Really incredible condition on this one. A little bit maybe of like a dust shadow or tan line on the top. But I mean, like, look at the edges. Like this edge over here, it's nuts. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, no chipping or bending or anything. Really sharp. So yeah, really nice presenting copy of that book. All right, now this title has some crazy covers in it. So this one is Fight Against Crime number 18. It's like I'm covering all the Golden Age genres in this one. We got a crime cover here now, but this one covers a couple genres because you've got the skull cover, the skeleton cover. So it's got that pre-code horror element to it. I believe it's Fight Comics 20, or I'm not sorry, Fight Comics, Fight Against Crime 20. That is the super violent one where it's the guy that has the woman and is dumping her body and her decapitated head into the sewer and the cops are coming. So if you haven't seen that one before, I'll throw a picture up over there. That's a crazy cover, and I'm pretty sure it's 20. If it's not, I'll correct myself. But yeah, this one also has a Bonnets store stamp on it. I've shown those before. Bonnets was a big seller back in this time period, and they had these like massive stamps that they put on their books. Sometimes you get books with like a bunch of them all over it. Yeah, so they're always kind of cool to see. It's almost like its own little mini pedigree, these Bonnet store books. But yeah, this cop looks like he is in trouble. This woman and this guy are gonna are going to kill him like they did that other cop already. So, but yeah, Fight Against Crime, number 18, 3-0. Just a pretty solid presenting copy. I mean, for a 3-0, it's got really bright colors. You know, it's got a little bit of a crease here. A lot of the copies I've seen of this book generally have pretty poor page quality, like brittle or slightly brittle pages. This one's pretty nice. It's off-white to white. But yeah, cool cover on this one. Just, like I said, covering all the genres. And I really think I almost am, because this last one here kind of got like a good girl art type cover. This is Blue Beetle number 48. So you can see you've got the attractive woman on the cover. I don't know if you'd call this more like the bad girl art, because she looks like she's probably a villain or something like that Blue Beetle is jumping in to stop. But Blue Beetle in this time period had a lot of these types of covers. They were often Jack Kamen. Yeah, and this one is Jack Kamen as well. And so typically you have Jack Kamen covers with these, and they can be very in-demand books, because basically in that time period you had Kamen and you had Baker. Now Baker definitely commands more of a premium, but Kamen covers are, I mean, for me personally, a lot of times I can't tell the difference. Like they are very, very similar styles. Sometimes I can tell the difference with like the hair. Usually I can tell a little difference with like the way that Baker does the hair, but they definitely have very similar styles, Matt Baker and Jack Kamen. But yeah, Blue Beetle number 48, a nice grade copy too, 1947 and a 6.5. So yeah, pretty happy with that. All right, so I've put it off long enough. Now I've gotta open this one. So I'll give a little background on this book. So what this is Secret Diary of Eerie Adventure. Now, it is a non-numbered book, so it's an NN. I believe it's basically like a compilation of a bunch of other stories put into a single one. And the reason that I am nervous about this one is that, I mean, I paid a lot for this book raw on eBay. And so I paid just under $2,900 for this book raw. And the challenging part is I didn't really know how many pages this book was supposed to have. Even if you go to the Grand Comics database, the Grand Comics database does not have a page count for it. This book says it has 100 pages on the cover, but sometimes when you have a book that says it's 100 pages, it means it's 100 pages plus the covers. Sometimes it's 100 pages including the covers. So I did the page count, and it was 100 pages including the covers. And so I was like, I didn't see anything that looked like it had been cut out. So I'm like, hopefully I didn't miss something. And, and so what I'm hoping for is I want a blue label, and I want it above a 0.5. Because if it's missing pages, it means I'm getting a 0.5. If it's like a purple label or something like that, I'm going to be pretty upset, because then it means I would have missed some restoration. But that's the other thing. Like, you're spending a lot of money on these books raw, and you're buying it on, like eBay, where you only can really see a little bit. Like, I can see the front and back cover, and I got the book, and I estimated this one as a 3.5. I also thought it had a pretty good shot at white pages. The page quality looked really, really nice on this one. And so now the thing is, the reason why that this could be a potential big win is I'm going to put the recent sales for this book up here. Now, this book does not sell often, but it had 2 sales last year. Prior to that, it hadn't sold since 2017. That is how uncommon this book is and how rarely it comes up for sale. And that 2.5 sold in, I think, October for $5,040. The 5.5 sold for like $8,400 in March of 2022. So I think this one is a 3.5. If it is, then it means that my, $29-ish $100 plus grading and pressing and everything like that is worth it. If it's just a purple label, I'm probably still okay. It's a rare enough book. If it's a 0.5, I'm losing some money on this one. So if you haven't seen me do these before, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to bring the book down from the top so that I can't see it. I've got a screen over on the side here, and I will bring the book down into view, and then we will both see it at the same time. All right, so here it is. So this is Secret Diary of Eerie Adventures. And yeah, this looks, gosh, it looks so nice. Now, the main issue with this book is it has some splitting down on the bottom that was protected with tape. And I don't want to accidentally show the top. It also has some splitting at the top edge that was protected with tape. But like I said, page quality was really, really nice. Otherwise, a pretty clean looking book. It had a little bit of maybe water damage, maybe a little rippling, that kind of thing. And it had some light creasing along the spine. I'll show it closer once we check out the grades. So, like I said, I thought it was a 3.5, possible white pages. Let's see how this goes. All right, off-white to white. I missed the white pages, but 4.0. So, so yes, it was a very good gamble then. This one paid off very, very well. I am extremely happy with that, because like I said, 2.5 last sale, $5,040, 5.5 last sale. Before that one was like 8,500 or 8,400. So, I mean, I'd put this somewhere in the 7,000, 7,500 range. Yeah, and make sure the case isn't cracked or anything. Oh man, yeah, I am really happy with that. So let's take a closer look at this book. So you can see there's definitely some wear and that kind of thing on the edges, but overall, a very nice presenting copy of this book. I think this puts it in the top 50% of copies. There's not a lot out there. I think there's around 20 or something, but top 50% or so of copies. You can see it's got some creasing that along the spine a little bit, and then there's this piece of tape protecting the top and a piece of tape protecting the bottom. You can see that tape a little more clearly here and here. And you can see how there was a little bit of staple rust. So that's what I was talking about, where there had been a little bit of water damage or something. But yeah, the back cover still looks really exceptional. I mean, and the page quality, if you go back and find the video, I don't remember which one it is, where I actually showed some interior of this book. Pages were really, really nice. That's why I thought I had a shot at white pages, but happy to get off white to white. I mean, at least that I'm kind of close in my page quality guess. That's not something I'm ever really focusing on, but this one just jumped out at me as the page quality being really nice, especially for the age of the book. But yeah, 1953, Avon, A.C. Hollingsworth cover, Joe Kubert art, Secret Diary of Eerie Adventures, NN. And I mean, this doesn't make the submission for me, but man, this really makes it better. This is I have a lot of books in the submission, 42 books. I showed the 7 that I got back in the modern, then I have this one, and then I have, I think, 24 in a fast track economy and 10 more in a standard that are still on their way here eventually. But oof, man, this was the one that really had me nervous, because I was there's a decent shot that I ended up getting a 0.5 just because I wasn't sure about the page count. So like I said, here we've got the 100-page book, and somebody had commented that what it probably was 3 32-page books, so without the covers, plus these covers. So that would be 96 and then 4 more. So that gets you to the 100. So I was hoping that sounded right to me. That sounded pretty good. But yeah, I wasn't sure until I actually got the book back. But yeah, I mean, you can see even the spine is pretty nice. It's actually, you can read the text that was on the spine. It's just like any of these, old square bounds. It just had started to split. It's actually probably good that whoever originally had this put that tape on there to keep it from actually fully splitting and the cover coming off, because man, that is from this distance, that is a really nice looking copy of this book. I'm happy with this one. All right, so those are all the books. This one I am very, very excited about. I can definitely get a lot of misses on the next books that come back because this one turned out as well as it did. So, rare book, Secret Diary of Eerie Adventures, number NN, 4.0. Awesome. All right, so if you want to see more videos like this, like I said, I have got other CGC submissions that are coming back. I've got some more that I need to send out. I just got to find the time to package them up. If you want to see more stuff like that, hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. Hit the like button. Remember to check out the sponsor of this video, the Comic Book Presser. His details are in the description of this video. And like I've said, I showed the modern books that he pressed. He pressed this one. This is, super rare Golden Age book. So I send all kinds of stuff to him. And does a great job. So if you want to see more of my videos, I got more videos over here. I've got the subscription button right here, and I will see you in the next video.